How's it going, guys and gals? It's Elderville coming back at you. I just kind of wanted to put together a little video talking about what my plans are for the Diablo 4 launch. Obviously, I cannot be there for the actual launch as I work, but my plans in general are to play a sorceress, and I will be playing a ice shard sorceress. I'll be capping ice shards. I'll be using that to keep vulnerability up using destructive ice shards. I will also be running at least 1 point into Frozen Orb down to the Destructive Frozen Orb to also have a chance for vulnerability. I'll probably cap out Fireball to use as an enchant for extra clear, and I'll be using Spark as my core skill to increase my chance for critical hits. Now, on top of that, I'll be running 2 defensive skills, and that'll be Ice Armor and Frost Nova. Now, Ice Armor is going to primarily be so that way when I keep the barrier up, I can keep myself, it's a defensive layer, but on top of that, it just kind of also helps with mana regen, and you can damage against vulnerable enemies contributes 50% more Ice Armor barrier, so you can also increase the amount of barrier you have that way. Frost Nova will, early on, I can either use it for an increased vulnerability time, or I switch over and I use it to gain mana while I'm going through large packs. Now, with that said, Frost Nova generates mana per enemy hit. It just says mana. I don't know exactly how much it is. I think it's like 4 mana or something like that last time I saw the numbers, but case in point is we'll run that, and then on top of that we'll be running lucky hit critical strike chance up to 5%. So 3 points, you get 15% chance to reset the cooldown on one of your defensive skills. It can only happen every 10 seconds. It's still a really good thing to put points into personally. Elemental attunement. After that, I'm not going to put any points into Conjuration. That is not something that I have an interest in. And so from there, I will actually move down into using Icy Veil and pretty much all 3 nodes. So Cold Front and Snap Freeze to increase my chance for freezing, increase duration of my barriers. And while I have a barrier active, I apply even more chill, which is great. So the more you chill, the higher chance you have to freeze as well. I'll be running Blizzard, which will be one of my primary enchants, and if the enchants work in conjunction with the other points that you put in here, when Blizzard is cast above 50 mana, Blizzard duration is increased by 4 seconds. So then, instead of casting a Blizzard for 6 seconds that follows you, you cast it for 10 seconds. And you get a damage reduction boost by using a glyph later on. Now, with that said, I'll when I get to the ultimates, I'll be using Deep Freeze, obviously, and then a few of the other points like Permafrost, which I'll probably only put 1 point in Permafrost. I'm not super worried about that one. However, I do want to put points into increased cold damage to vulnerable enemies. Lucky hit cold damage against vulnerable enemies has a 20% chance to generate 5 mana. That's really good. So you can get it to a 20% chance to generate 15 mana with cold damage against vulnerable enemies. And so if I keep vulnerable up, which my build should almost always have vulnerable up, I should be generating mana fast enough to kind of keep up with my spending. And then on top of that, I'll be running Avalanche. Your frost skills have up to 10% chance to make your next cast of ice shards, Frozen Orb, or Blizzard consume no mana and deal 40% increased damage. So this chance is doubled against vulnerable enemies. Again, my build should be keeping vulnerable up constantly. So I should constantly have a 20% chance to have a free cast and extra damage. With that said, when it comes to gearing, there is a weapon legendary affix, that pierces enemies. It causes the ice shards to do less damage, but it pierces enemies. So as you're damaging, it just kind of goes out and you're killing things, and it's just helpful for AoE and extra damage. On top of that, I can swap in an enchantment using Fireball to run for extra AoE damage to help with clearing early on, and I might switch away from that later, but early on it's really good. Now, as far as Paragon boards go, there is, like, all of the Paragon boards are really good. I might actually go with Enchantment Master first, as that one gives me, your enchantments are 20% stronger. Now, with that said, I don't know if that's just 20% applied to like the Blizzard enchantment. I don't know if that's going to increase the time or the duration. 20% of 10 is still, 2 seconds? That's still pretty good. So it goes from being the uptime being 10 to 15, it goes 12 to 15 now. So even better. Now, with that said, after that point, there are quite a few boards that are really good, and I can legitimately say that all of the cold ones are really good. A couple of the lightning ones are okay, and you can actually see which types of nodes and whatnot you can get. So if you're looking for like the highest intelligent nodes, there's Frigid Fate, there's Searing Heat, and Static Surge, which gives the most at 75. However, personally, I don't think that's that great. So Frigid Fate for me, of course, would be one that I use. So dealing cold damage to vulnerable enemies increases your lucky hit chance by 1% for 5 seconds up to 15%. So that's pretty good, I gotta say. Now, depending on how it adds up, because it says plus 1%. So if that's a direct plus to my lucky hit chance, that's awesome. Now, if it's a percent of a percent, then it kind of gets kind of eh. But in general, that's really good. And then on top of that, on Frigid Fate, there are some really good nodes for increased cold damage, I believe. Let's see. There's lucky hit chance on there, so that's a plus as well. And then, well, actually no, this is the one that has a lot of healing and damage reduction. Yeah, and damage reduction from vulnerable enemies. So this one would be my defensive one. So depending on where I'm at, if I'm having trouble or if I'm taking a lot of damage, maybe I'll take this as my second Paragon board. But more than likely, this might end up being the last one that I put up, so that way I can focus mainly on damage. Now, again, that's all dependent on gearing and everything like that. So with that said, though, I kind of just need to focus on doing as much damage as I can to kind of clear out the areas and doing all the AoE that I can. With all of that said, that's my general plan. I don't have a strategy for farming. I don't have a strategy for any of that stuff right now. I wasn't one of the lucky few that was able to play the full game for the past week and a half. And the people that did, they're super excited to play again. So I'm getting pretty pumped to play tomorrow or today at launch. And I hope y'all come and join me. I'll be streaming at 9 p.m. CST at twitch.tv/elderofwoe. I plan on making more content for D4 on here on the YouTube. Please let me know what y'all want to see. Do y'all want me to play around with builds and try different things and try different aspects? Because I know a lot of people, they're theory crafting, they're using the online resources, and I know that's fine, and it does work sometimes, but honestly, there's no way to know how a build really feels until you see it in action, until you play it. And that's what I want to do for y'all. I want to show y'all how things really work and how they feel, and really break things down. Now, on top of doing that sort of build thing, I want to know what y'all want to see. Do y'all want to see like boss kills? Do y'all want to see just rip clips, all the times that I die or something like that? But either way, y'all let me know. Like I said, come visit me on twitch.tv/elderofwoe tomorrow 9 p.m. CST, or today 9 p.m. CST actually. And don't forget to hit that like, hit that sub, and leave a comment. I'll see y'all next time. This is Elder Wolf saying, over and out.